Welcome to the Path Podcast, where we will travel the lives of some bold women, from dreams to detours to destiny. She did not choose this path. This path chose her. This is the Path Podcast. Welcome back, Path listeners, to another solo episode of the Path Podcast with your sister, your motivator, your confidence builder, the one who believes that purpose is bigger than obstacles. If you missed it, remember, April 2024, we're starting this new business series called It's My Business. I am building episodes with some guests right now coming in to the Path Podcast to tell us about how, why, when, where they started their businesses. And you know what, Path listeners? It is for you. It is for you. It's for me. It is to motivate, encourage, to make us step out there, to do what we know we're called to. And if you don't know what you're called to, but you know there's something, it's for you as well, because we will have those people coming in to help motivate and encourage you. I am a motivator. I am your hype girl here on the Path Podcast, but I know so many others out there who are further in this than I am that can motivate you even to that next level, as we all can grow and learn from each other. And that's what we will do in this series. To let you know what to expect, we will play one or two replays of some amazing guests I've had that started businesses, whether that business was a service or the gifts and talents that they innately have and were born with, and brought it out because of the different things in their lives that forged their path to who they know they were truly called to be. And that's what I want you to get, Path listeners, to know that there is something in you. You will hear a lot of my old guests and my new guests, their whys, why they started the businesses. Because what you will learn is having a why will help sustain you in this business. Because you will also hear it is not always easy. There are bumps on this road. Like the quote said, the road to success is not always straight. There are a lot of twists and turns. You will hear a lot of our guests who said they had to pivot in some ways, especially when COVID happened. You will hear how some of our guests are still with some great products, sharing a lot of the struggles they have to get it out into the marketplace, into every area they know it belongs. But the thing is, they're not stopping. They won't give up because they have a why that's bigger than the product, bigger than themselves. And that's something you will have to go into business, to even apply for that next position. You have to have a why you're doing it. You have to know it. You're called to it. You have to believe in yourself. That is something I promise you need to come and bring with you to any table that you know you're called to, is that confidence to know that you belong there. You cannot allow anyone, because the world sometimes will try to make you believe that you don't belong there, but you do. And it's going to take you knowing that first, because if not, oh yeah, you will stop. Trust me. You will stop, you will give up, and you will put it on the shelf. And before you know it, years will pass. And before you know it, life happens and you'll feel like it's too late. And for so many, they went to their graves with those great gifts and talents and ideas and products. For whatever reason, only they know. I don't want that to be our story. So my question to you is, what is holding you back? What is holding you back from taking that first step? Is it fear? Is it the confidence? Is it not knowing where to start? Because if we all can be honest, it can feel unattainable at times. But if you have a dream to build something that is burning in your soul, there is, I don't want to say no way that you could live a peaceful and a joyful life without at least trying. I'm not saying just jump out there, but you have to at least try. That is a word that you're going to have to put in your vocabulary. I have to try this. I have to try this, and I have to believe enough in this vision, in this purpose, in these gifts and talents that I've been gifted with to give to the world. It's not for you to keep it to yourself. Let me tell you, there are some people who I know can wrap circles around what I do when I see them speaking, and I'm like, wow, that is amazing. But they are gifted in their gifts and how they come across, and I am in my gifts and how I come across. I'm wired differently than they are, but we can all win. I will always celebrate somebody who is gifted in what they're doing and winning in their lane, and not envy, be jealous of, because my God is not small. He's not broke. Trust me. And if you're out there still trying to figure it out, don't worry. It will come to you. Get a mentor, get a coach, someone to help you put some of the pieces together, because it is already in you. It's just having that person to help bring it out of you. So if you want to work with me, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And if not me, I know a lot of other life coaches out there, if that's what you're looking for, mentors that will be happy to work with you. Working with me, I would want you to have the audacity to dream again. Dream again and bring that idea to life. If writing it down is the only thing you do today, that is a step forward. You are well on your way. There's a lot more that comes behind that, but trust me, taking that first step is important. It's important and it's an accomplishment. Now you go to step 2. Those are the things that we will be talking about here with my guests as well as experts. We will also share how we had to build something really because of a dream we had and the ideas. We saw the opportunities, and we keep, as we still build, banging and banging on doors. We keep banging until someone finally opens a door. You know what? Some of my guests I follow will tell you they're still banging, and they have some wonderful products and services and ideas. But you know what? We don't stop. You keep moving. See, we have to build through the struggle. We have to build through some failures that we've taken and some that we saw and we didn't see. We have to build from our experiences. And that's what I want you to get, Path listeners. Build from some of the experiences that you hear here so you don't make those same mistakes. I want you to go into it years prior based off of not making the same mistakes that we've made, so you can get to that finish line faster maybe. You will hear a lot of my guests tell their whys, why they started it, why they continue, when it gets hard, when they have to knock down the walls sometimes and keep knocking them down and keep hearing no, but they kept going. You will hear the why that keeps them moving. And you know what? I was listening to another story again. You know of this very successful entrepreneur, Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely is the founder of Spanx. We all know her story. And if you don't know it, let me just share one or two main things about her. She started similar to you and I, where she was working a full-time job selling, get this, I didn't know this, fax machines. Selling fax machines door to door for 7 years. And the idea of Spanx came about as she was, getting dressed, because she had to be, I'm sure, in professional business attire. And she didn't like how certain things looked from the market that she would put on with some of her clothes and how it made her look in her clothing. And she made up her own product, of course. And she tells the story so well of how she had to knock on doors and was turned down so many times. And how when she finally went to go to pitch her idea to, I forgot which one, if it was Nordstrom. I'm sorry, I don't want to get that wrong. When she had to pitch the idea and she knew the lady was about to say no, and she asked her to go to the bathroom with her so she could show her something. And that was brave for her to take that step to ask her to do that, but she did, and it paid off for her. She even talked about how she was turned down so many times in manufacturing. And in manufacturing, while she was turned down, she said, finally, one man who finally said yes. He said yes because he has 3 daughters. And his daughters told him to think about this. Because remember, this industry was mostly, and still is, a lot of males out there running these companies that was trying to put things on women's bodies that they've never, most of them, I'm sure, and I don't know, I can't say for sure, have ever tried themselves. So how could they know what works for us, what fits our body, what our body needs, unless they had spoken like that gentleman, if he was a manufacturer, but if he had spoken to his daughters, a wife to know, or someone like a Sarah Blakely coming in saying, this is my idea. I need someone to manufacture it. Like she said, she was still working, doing research on the back end. She talked more about that when she had to try to get a patent. She knew nothing about any of this. She did this on her free time. And this is what it would take for all of us, Path listeners. We have to do the work behind the scenes because we don't have a team doing the work for us. You will hear my guests talk about that. So my question again to you, what is holding you back? Again, when I think of the women and men that listen to this show, for the women and for my men that listen, I want it to be your mothers, your daughters, your sisters, because if you have a wife, hopefully she's still doing it. You're celebrating her and her accomplishments and what she's good at and her talents. I want them to succeed. And for the women who are the head of their households, I want you to be able to take care of your kids just the same if you had two incomes coming in the home. We should not, or our kids should not go lacking because of one income. You know why? Because we're successful. You know, women, we are the most resilient people out there. It's nothing we can't do. We don't want to do everything that others do or trying to take anyone's role, men, but we are good at what we do. We're good at nurturing as well as running businesses. And we can do all at the same time. And we can do it all if we have that support system. And that's another thing I want to build from this series is a support system. We want to celebrate each woman and we want to support these women. You know what? We have a lot of other businesses out there that's doing great that we can support. What about the business next door to you or in your neighborhood? What are you doing to support those businesses? And some of us with a nonprofit and calling that with a calling that is outside of the United States even, we have to support those areas as well because they are our brothers and our sisters. We are human beings first. We are to go globally and help wherever we can as well as take care of home. We are not going to limit ourselves to one thing, one area. Where there is a need, that's where we want to be, right? Don't you want to take your product globally? We have to not allow ourselves to be limited to just one place, one area, if you're called to do those things. But what I would want us to do from these episodes and from these businesses is to support each other. I cannot express that enough. I am my sister's keeper. The way I want to succeed, I want you out there to succeed. I want my brothers out there to succeed. So I just want a world filled with people who are living their dreams and doing what they're called to do. It's becoming one of my core missions in this life. I'm so excited about it. I'm excited to be a part of it, to meet exciting and wonderful businesses because I'm here to support you. It won't be because of me, but I know one thing, you will see that I will support you in any way I can. And I want to bring you and your businesses to the masses on the parts that I can play. And I'm thankful that God is going to open the doors so we can bring this to more people. I'm believing in it. I'm believing in me. I'm believing in what I am called to do. This is what I want you to get this knowing in your gut that it's going to happen. So you have to know that you know that you know that whatever it is that you're called to, that it will come to fruition. It won't happen in your timing. It won't happen in my timing, but it will happen if we don't stop. That's the point. You cannot stop. So what is holding you back? I'm going to put my daughter out there on blast. My daughter right now edits my podcast. And let me tell you, my daughter is the smartest, most beautiful, but the smartest young lady that's out here. When I hear her speak on different things in the world, you'll think she's a little older than she is. She's talented in voiceovers. She's talented in writing. I thought she was going to be a journalist, but she told me that's not truly what she was wanting to do. But she's good at these different things. You need a voiceover artist? She is that person for you. She can do books. She can do gaming. She can do just for businesses. She's done a lot of the work behind the scenes, and she's done some training. She's great at all of these things. I tell you, she is wonderful. Let me know, and I will let you know how to get in touch with my daughter. I just want her to just start moving into those things that she's gifted at. You know what? It's going to happen more in her timing, and she's doing some of the behind the scenes stuff on it. So I just can't wait to see where it takes her, or if she takes a different route. Because as we always know, sometimes we do pivot. Life makes us pivot. Life makes us change. The one thing I always urge her not to do, don't sit on those gifts and talents. You don't want to wait 5 years from now and see, I could have been here maybe if I stepped out more. So that's what she gets internally in our home all the time. She would tell you it's too much sometimes. But that's what a mom does, right? So I'm here to support her in whatever decisions she makes, because I know she will make sound decisions, as I still try to advise in the ways that I can, because I want the best for her, of course. Wealth Path listeners, for sake of time, as I've grown to learn to try to shorten some of my episodes, even with my guests, because we are all busy and I want you to listen until the end. I want us to always leave each episode with an actionable step. And if today it is just writing down the name of your company or your idea, that's your first step. Your second step is to research it. Research the idea. If it's a product, see if it's a patent out there already for it. The point is, you're moving forward and you're making your dreams closer to becoming a reality. Do not sleep on your gifts and talents, Path listeners. Do not take it to your grave. You are born to do something amazing, and the world is waiting on you to bring it to us. Come on, what are you waiting on? Let's do this thing. It's time. And if you out there, you have a business and you want to come on the Path Podcast, please connect with me. Let's bring your experience, your expertise to the Path listeners so we can learn from you, as well as work with you possibly in the future where it fits and works for our businesses. I cannot wait again to have some of the most phenomenal people in their industries. We see so many people again on TV and on being very successful in what they're doing. And a lot of times it is our local businesses and or family members that's doing great work, and they are right here in our back doors. It's our beauticians, that's owning salons, it's starting nonprofits, it's the bakery around the corner that's been there for the longest, or that person who's been catering in your neighborhood for the past 10, 15, 20 years or more. Let's start supporting them and each other. And if you know some of these businesses that are not currently listening to the Path Podcast, please share this with them and or my contact information and have them connect with me. I would love to have them on the Path Podcast. I will do my own due diligence and research some of them myself to make sure they have a legit business. I can't look at everything, but I know I use discernment, and I will definitely be happy to connect with some of these phenomenal people that you introduced me to, because I want them to know they have a platform here, and we're here to support them in their businesses. Mark your calendars. Again, it's starting April 2024. Is next month. We will have these phenomenal guests coming in. You will hear a few replays of some phenomenal businesses. I would play all of them throughout the year. So you may hear them throughout this whole year, because I've had all of my past guests who have started wonderful businesses and doing the work still to this day. I still will bring you my therapist, trust me, because I believe so wholeheartedly in what therapists do. I have some phenomenal women in store, because we need that mental break a lot of times, don't we? So I cannot wait to bring them in. I will still bring in coaches as well. So if you have even a life coach, a business coaching business, You are welcome to the Path Podcast. Well, Path listeners, I am wrapping it up finally again. What I love to say on here, my crown is not complete until every woman wears her crown proudly. Until next time, Path listeners. Thank you for listening to the Path Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. It will help you to easily find the show when new episodes go live. You can also listen on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iTunes, and all other major platforms. If you have any questions about the things we've covered on the show or would like to follow my projects, please find me on Instagram and Facebook at thepath_podcast. You can also go to my website at www.arlenebowden.com. See you on the next episode.